Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 3 at SLOconf 2022. I'm your host, Kit Merker, along with my co-host.
Here's that Zulfia. Welcome, everyone. So nice to see all of you join today as well.
Well, it's day 3. Erza, how are we doing so far? Are we feeling okay?
Oh my God. It's really great.
Jenna's jumping in there. It's okay. Anyway, sorry, Erza, you were saying?
Yeah, I was going to say we're doing really great. I feel like people had more time to watch the talks. So I see more detailed discussion going on in the channels, on the track channels. So check them out. There's where the real discussions are going on. Really good. Pet pictures are coming in. Not as much as day 1, of course, but I still see so many pets. So I think we're doing really good.
We've made the transition from pets to SLOs, I think. The conversation has moved, which is good, which is very good. So let's see, what do we got today? Oh yeah, first off, we got to thank our SLOofficial sponsors. So thank you, everybody. These companies are here and helping us out, make SLOconf a reality. So please thank them and check out their channels and say hello. Yes. And Erza, we've got some stats about SLOconf. So you want to walk us through the numbers here? What do we know behind the scenes?
So far, the numbers we've gotten are really amazing, actually. And these are based on the 2 days. That's what we were able to get. So we're getting more. Tomorrow, when we go through this, we're going to see even more different numbers, which is awesome. But so far, we have 1,100 unique company names on the list of registrations, which is really awesome. So we have a total 9 hours of content. And so far, we've seen over 3,700 views on our content, on the videos, which is really awesome. And the videos have been watched for 216 hours, which is really awesome as well. And when we come to the attendee job roles, we see that the major part, I think, is SREs. Now I'm noticing, Kit, that my little screenshots are way too small because I cannot see from my screen. But so I see the vast majority were within the tech, obviously within the tech sector. So we see SREs, DevOps, countries. That's very interesting list because we see that we have the demographic shows that we have people from all over the world, which is really nice because we had that last year as well. I don't have this. We're working on a better map, which we will show to you hopefully tomorrow. But for now, we see that we have people joining from all over the world.
So yeah, so I can read the job roles. My screen, I guess, is bigger. We got 26.8% are SREs. We got 27% are cloud/software/principal engineers. DevOps is about 10%, a little less than 10%, 9.8%. And then other is 36%. So lots of SRE, cloud, and DevOps folks, more than half of the attendees, and then the mix of other roles there. And by the way, speaking of the map, this is the map we generated based on the attendee country data, but we also are working on a more detailed one. If you go look in the general channel, Alex Hidalgo has a thread going, and so you can jump on there and add your city. It's now we don't have the number of registrations on here, although I think the last I peeked, we can say it's over 2,700 registrations for SLOconf. Isn't that right, Erza?
Yes.
And the number's still going up. People are still joining in and going to the conference. Just blown away by the number of people who have joined SLOconf and are engaging in the content and everything else. So really cool. Yeah, that's really fun. Okay. And let's go back and recap the event. So what have we done so far? We did all the tracks. So on Monday, it feels like ages ago, but what do we do Monday?
Monday, we had the State of SLOs survey presented by Brian. He joined us on the daily stand-up, and it was the first day of SLOconf. So obviously so many things were going on with everyone trying to catch up with the videos and understand the format. And Kid made a comment earlier to Jason, to people in the chat, which I thought was really good, that once people get a hang of the format, it's very straightforward. And once you understand that, all you have to do is look at the videos at your own pace and then discuss them on the Slack channel. And speaker, sponsor, everyone is living in the same space with the Slack channel. That's and I feel like people are finally have gotten to the day 3 where they're getting a hang of the format. So everything is going so smooth. But day 1 was definitely more questions, more people trying to figure it out. We had a really good time at the daily stand-ups. I liked that a lot. And then day 2 we had, which was yesterday, even that feels ages ago. We had the Open SLO panel join us at the daily stand-up. If you haven't checked out that video, I highly recommend you to do so. Really great discussions were going on with people from different organizations, and a bunch of pet pictures, bunch of discussions. I think we've had a really eventful 2 days so far.
Pet pictures are really the headline of the whole thing. Well, today we've got an exciting discussion as well, because we made an announcement. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, we want to make sure everybody knows how to SLOconf. So if you are just joining us or aren't familiar with the event, the daily stand-up every day, we talk about news and whatever's going on, and which is where we're in right now. And then we'll make sure you join the general Slack channel and watch the videos and do the hands-on labs. And there's lots of cool stuff to do. The schedule, such that it is really not much of a schedule. You really do it on your own pace and your own time. And I highly recommend you go check out the different channels and scroll up, look at the previous conversations and jump into it. Mention people, tag people, add emojis. We just got a new drop of SLOconf emojis this morning. So I'm going to go back and re-emoji all of my conversations I've had. So that's it. That's all you have to do. It's very simple, very straightforward. Tell your friends, share the videos. It's all on YouTube. And we have 4 talk recommendations today. Again, Urza, so you picked out 4 more for us to go to. So if you don't know where to go, Urza's got you covered. 4 talks. So walk us through these. What are they?
So like many of you know, we have 4 tracks at SLOconf, and at each daily stand-up, I tried to pick a talk from different tracks. So we cover all of them because all of them are so informative and so good. First one is SLOs for everyone. And just like the name itself, this track covers SLOs at all level at any industry. This time I wanted to highly recommend you to check out Eric Morgan's talk. Eric is a chef at a restaurant in New York, and he explains to us how he uses SLOs in his daily life in the restaurant world, which I think is a very cool concept. And you might not think of it. Yesterday we had another another industry that we recommended in this track. So I highly recommend you to check this out. It gives you a very good perspective of how SLOs are used in anything really. And then we have for SLO fundamentals, we have Gwen de Leon. And Gwen is actually talking with Stefan. I just didn't have time to put his picture here as well. But their talk is about defining SLOs when you don't know anything about SLOs. So this is a really good one for anyone getting started with SLOs. Like if your company is getting started in their SLO journey, check out this talk. It's a great one. The other one is a talk that I really like by Heidi Waterhouse. And this is within the future of SLOs. Heidi talks about how automating responses saves your SLOs. So check this one out as well. And then we have Andreas Grabner from Dynatrace. Andreas talks within the track of SLO stories, and he gives us tips for running successful SLO workshops in under 1 hour. A really good talk. And Kit, this talk actually made me think of the talk that you did last year at SLOconf. So, which reminds me to remind everyone, I know that you're working really hard to check out the content of this year, but we have a bunch of good content from last year as well that can be reused. So when you have time, check out all the SLOconf tracks and talks.
Well, this is a great place to get started. And you good point about last year's content as well. And a couple of these people here, the Gwen and Andreas's talks actually is a good segue into the next segment we're going to talk about, because today we announced this morning, I don't know if everybody saw it, but we announced a new open source project called the SlowDLC, Slow Development Lifecycle. And it's just, to me, this has been one of the projects I've been working on myself and closely with all these companies. And it's just been a really fun and exciting process to really take all of the different ideas about adopting SLOs and the workshops and boot camps and everything else, and try to combine those ideas into a cohesive whole. And one of the founding members of the SlowDLC, Jason Greenwell from Ford, is going to join us, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. So Jason, you want to go ahead and say hi?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I think I'm turned back on now.
We can see you. Yep. You're here. Yep. We got you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. And like I said, I'm really thankful to have been able to get involved with you guys in the SlowDLC process, just as we've been putting it together here.
So for people who don't know, and I think nobody knows because we just announced it. So can you just tell us, what is the SlowDLC?
Yeah. So, for SlowDLC, for me, it's a logical and a standardized way of going about thinking, how do you slow? How do you go about understanding, what the journeys are, what SLIs we should have, what SLOs really matter? And then how do teams take that and really incorporate it into, their day-to-day, lives and how they run and manage their products? In a large organization, you're going to have a high degree of variance in how teams go about this. A lot of teams will understand their journey and they'll understand, a lot of the indicators that may help with it, but how they go about it is going to be kind of all over the place once you have enough teams. And SlowDLC really helps to kind of harmonize and homogenize some of that thinking without constraining the teams too much to do what they need to do uniquely for their products and their customers.
So you're obviously a SRE, manager and doing DevSecOps stuff and everything at Ford. Mm-hmm. Why are you personally involved? What do you see for yourself in this project, this new initiative?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I'm the SRE manager and I have DevSecOps stuff in the Model E business unit here at Ford. But my teams, they provide a lot of platforms that support the overall enterprise. And one of the things that I'm charged with is really driving, SRE adoption, and a key of that, one of the key parts of that and tenets is, slow adoption across the enterprise. That way we can answer questions about, kind of the overall, software ecosystem in aggregate. Everything's getting a lot more digital, in my industry, there's a lot more, connected experiences that are happening all the time. And, the reliability of those experiences is really part of the reliability of your car. And so making sure that we can up that game and resilience and reliability of all of those backing services that really power those experiences is just critical to us going forward.
So you're thinking about this reliability and resiliency and getting more digital experiences, which makes perfect sense, right? That's a strategic direction for Ford and for your mm-hmm. team. And so why do you want to be involved in open source though? Why are you hoping to get out of being involved in this open community driven type of project?
Right. Well, I think that, what we're doing here with SlowDLC and things like that, it applies across the board, right? I just have kind of a different context that we're doing it in, but, everybody's looking at how do they, up their resilience, do more SRE. But what does that mean? If you go out and you're hiring a bunch of SREs, right, or you're trying to bring these things in, everybody seems to have a very different definition of what that is, and they'll have different criteria for what these folks do, and trying to, commonize that, we have that same kind of difference as it's grown up organically, here at Ford. Trying to commonize that so we can talk the same language is huge. And being able to, be involved with it early on is, it's right where, I and Ford wants to be as we're, moving things forward in tech.
So what could you maybe characterize the journey of SLOs at Ford for yourself? I think SLOs are, I guess, are they important to your team? It sounds like SRE and this initiative is. Can you maybe walk us through kind of like your journey with SLOs and how they fit into your plans? Sure.
So I've been with Ford for a number of years now, 18 actually. Which makes me sound kind of old when I say it. But have been in a lot of different, contexts within Ford itself. Quality has always been, super important. And if you squint, a lot of the things that we've been doing and, some of the projects that I've run have been observability platforms in the plant space, right? So how do we make sure that, we're meeting the tolerances and specs, and how do we get alerted and really understand when we have things that are going sideways, quickly? How do we automatically recover, from things becoming out of spec so we can, push more parts forward? And so the concept, right, has always been, ever since, the beginning of the company, really important to Ford. It's just the tools and technologies and the contexts in which it applies have been, very, very different. And we've been rapidly going down kind of that digitization and kind of connected journey that I was talking about just a second ago. And that's just moving it into kind of the cloud mobile, web space in general, where it comes with, in some ways, a lot of harmonizing factors, right? So, we're going to talk with a lot of APIs of this sort. And so we have this layer that we can talk about it in very, common language, but how do we apply those same concepts in the layers that aren't as common, it becomes a really big challenge. And like I said, it's just critical to providing the experiences that we want to provide.
And you're seeing getting what you need at SLOconf. What do you think? How's SLOconf going for you?
Oh, SLOconf has been great. Just like everybody else, I'm a first timer here. A little confused. Well, what's the schedule? Where are we going? What's happening here? But it's inherently asynchronous. So, I've been answering a lot of questions to my colleagues here for, well, just check out the YouTube channel and go through and watch the videos that apply. And there's been a lot of things flying within our internal Slack around, well, check out this talk about operational SLOs. I think it applies really well to what we're doing in this space. So I think it's been great. And like I said, I've been having it running either on the side on my computer here or on one of my others in the room and picking up a lot of stuff. Very fun. Glad to be involved.
Attend while you work ethos. So we're all, we all have that spare ear while we're working. So on the SlowDLC, we've been working together with a bunch of companies. We're working with Oracle and Accenture and Contino and OutSystems and all these great companies on the SlowDLC. And what would you say, I guess, what would your pitch be for other people, maybe in your same position, to get involved with this or take a look at SlowDLC? Why should others get involved?
Well, regardless of the scope or scale of what you're dealing with or the context in which it exists, if you're doing connected experiences or not, understanding what makes your business hum, what helps you meet those metrics that you want to meet, and then what kind of operationally makes that work, right? Understanding what your SLIs are, understanding what your SLOs are, and then what that feedback loop is from what you learn, as you get some runtime. Maybe you're too hard on yourself and you have the slows too tight, or maybe you're not hitting the budgets that you need to. So you need to slow down that feature delivery using kind of a standard, kind of methodology to think through that is really, really powerful. And it applies across the board.
Well, and how do you, I guess, if you're thinking about the evolution of the SlowDLC, I know we have had some early discussions about some areas around FinOps and chaos engineering and some of those kinds of areas that are kind of like slow adjacent, if you know what I mean. How do you see the SlowDLC itself evolving? Is it just more templates and examples, or is it more areas, or what do you think the priorities will be, or where will it go?
So to me, I think, SlowDLC is kind of, 101 level of doing this SRE thing, right? And so really understanding what those objectives are, and then, what that's telling you, how, what level of health do you need to be at before you can start doing things like chaos engineering? How should, is there a structured and standardized way you can think about your SLOs, or what happens with them as you, start, you say chaos engineering. And so that's the one that's spinning in my head, as you start injecting that type of chaos and, inducing those failure modes in your tech stack, what are you learning from this? Where do you need to start re-architecting? And then how do you feed that back, not just to yourself, dependent upon your org, how do you feed that to other teams that you may be, dependent on? And so kind of trying to draw out those, cross dependencies, and then how to have the conversations, right? Because we're technologists, probably everybody, listening right now are technologists. We understand, tech debt. We understand, the need to pay these things back. How do we give our product owners or, decision makers in kind of our demand management areas that tell us what to do largely, how do we give them the right information to understand where we need to, slow things down or invest more in resilience? And I think that, that is where I want to take the data that comes out of this. And if there's a standard way to do that, it'd make a great addition kind of as we go.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thanks so much for being here, and really appreciate your insights into SlowDLC and your participation. We're going to have Jason stick around at the end of the stand up here for Q&A if anybody has any questions. So feel free to drop them in the Q&A in Zoom. Okay, so
thanks for
the other thing I'll shout out to, thank you, Jason. 2 new videos dropped on SlowDLC. So if you want to learn more, you can go check those out. We were holding them back because we didn't want to spoil the news. So Sal and I both did talks. Sal's talk is called Life with an SLO, and that is real world applications of the SlowDLC with customers that Sal's been working with. He's anonymized them and is sharing the real application of SlowDLC. So you want to check that out. And I go deeper and talk through each of the different phases and steps in SlowDLC, really break down the process and explain it to you step by step and give you pointers on how to get into the content. So we'd love for you to check it out. We'd love to get feedback. We're all hanging out in the SlowDLC channel in the Slack, the rest of the contributors, and there's a whole bunch of them. So please come ask questions, give us feedback, and get involved. Thank you very much. And then again, Urza, you want to thank our sponsors?
Yes. So again, a huge shout out and thank you to the SLO official sponsors for their huge contribution and for helping us make this event happen. I would like all of you to go and check out their channels. Some of the sponsors are even doing some nice competitions or giveaways. So go and check them out and be a part of it. So if we go to the next slide, we also want to thank another great group of sponsors, the SlowBound sponsors, a really good group. Some of the sponsors even have talks from some of their members, so check them out. And the other group is the Slow Steady sponsors. Thank you so much. Without all of you, this event wouldn't be possible. So thank you for your support. And last but not least, I want to thank the media sponsors. Thank you so much for covering this event and for all your support. And
that's it. We did it. Day 3. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the Slack. We'll see you in the YouTubes.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.